to this special edition of the hashtag How to Relationship podcast. Joining us in studio, very special guest, it is Pearl from Just Pearly Things. What the hell are you doing here?
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
I am here because I flew out to New York for a Vice interview.
Okay.
A panel.
Okay.
And I, of course, had to come see my pals out here while I'm on the East Coast.
Okay. Good stuff. I'm glad. Yeah. Have you got the switcher? You good with the switcher? Yeah. Okay. All right. Just making sure all the.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about your rise to success, because you're on a rocket ship. Like, the growth you're experiencing is akin to Kevin Samuels' growth. It's akin to the Fresh and Fit podcast. What do you attribute that to?
I don't think there's many like women in this space, so I think that's part of it.
Let me correct you. There are plenty of women in this space, but no authentic women. You understand what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, there are certain women in this space that aren't really. They're more groupies than anything. Obviously that's not who you are.
Okay, yeah, I guess there's, okay, oh gosh, I don't want to say anything, okay.
Choose your words carefully.
But, and I would say I just think it was like the perfect mix of like people.
Yeah.
Like, so I found my manager, he worked at the Daily Wire. He just quit to manage me. Shout out.
Yes.
Shout out.
Wow, very good.
I chased him down a couple years ago.
Okay.
It was like a combination of like the right time and like I just feel like we both work really hard. Like, he's really smart and I'm really coachable.
Okay.
And you put us together, it's like a unstoppable
Brady Belichick type deal?
and I just think hard work on top of that.
Right.
Like, I was recruiting myself for the show. I was cutting the clips. I was doing everything myself until a couple months ago, and I just think like we posted more than some people post in years on
Dude,
the channel.
I remember I texted you a couple of days ago. I was like, yo, you're posting videos every hour. You're like, yeah, I'm doing 16. I'm trying to go to 25.
Yeah.
What's the thought process behind that? Because I don't think anybody's ever done it at that rate, at least not that I know of.
Well, I'm just a repetition person. Like,
okay.
I just feel like the more you do something, the better you get at it. Like,
yeah.
because like why are like Fresh and Fit good at debating? Because they do it 5-6 times a week.
Yeah, right.
And so my thought is like, okay, if I have a thumbnail guy making 10 thumbnails a day, and your guy is making 1 a week or 2 a week, like, mine's gonna be better than yours in 6 months.
Okay,
so
that makes sense. Okay.
That's just how I've never been the type to work smart. I've always been the type to work hard. Some people are smarter than me. They can work smart, but I just, I work.
No one's going to outwork you.
No, I mean, I think they streamed 6 days a week. I won't ever do that.
Oh my God. So you're on, I was going to say, because listen, live streaming it is hard work. Mm-hmm. Live streaming is hard work. I know recruiting is hard work. I've never done like live recruiting. I remember you told me a couple weeks back, you said you could not pay me to relive the last 6 months. You couldn't pay me to do that. How difficult was it to really get this thing off the ground?
Oh God, it was horrible. Like, oh my gosh, like I was like begging people to come on the show, and you lose so many friends as a girl.
Really?
Yeah,
of course.
You're like, it's like kind of like you're telling on girls, so girls don't really like. Yeah, like I've lost like so it
the $200,000 ring person.
We weren't. I wouldn't call her.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, it was like every day I would just wake up and like film content, edit. Like it was like 6 months of hell on earth.
Worth it though, right?
Now, yeah, I get to do my dream job.
Good. Yeah, talking to people you disagree with, right?
Yeah, arguing.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. I've seen a few videos of you you're wearing a sign and you're just, hey, change my mind. I just want to, I'm talking to people I disagree with. I think that's what separates you from a lot of other content creators. A lot of people, they falsely attribute, you see, because a guy like Alpha Male Strategies, you weren't around back then, but AMS blew up. I mean, he seemingly came out of nowhere, and people thought that he got lucky or that he caught some kind of break. Now, no one gets to this point without a little bit of luck. For example, you're the guy who's managing you, who used to work for Vice. That's, I mean,
Daily Wire.
I'm sorry, Daily Wire. Oh, you were on Vice. Yeah, he used to work for the Daily Wire. Sometimes those things. So that was a little bit of luck, but you were in position to be able to take advantage of that.
Yeah, I chased him down for 2 years.
Yes, right. You chased him for 2 years, and finally he quit his job, and here you are.
And that's the thing, like, a lot of quick success, people think it's overnight, but it was like I was doing videos. I did rap reactions.
Yes.
I did vlogs.
Yes.
I can't even count how many I did relationship quizzes at one point.
You tried it. I remember you tried everything. I thought it was great. I think the first time I was on your radar, or the first time you were on my radar, and I forgot what it was, but I watched, you reacted to my Bachelor video about the Black Bachelor, Matt James, and that the white girls who compete white guys aren't going to want them anymore. And so you did a reaction to that video, and I did a reaction to your reaction, and then I think a week later, I said, "Hey, come on, and we'll talk about this. Talk about that." I thought that was funny.
No, that was hilarious. It was like our white girls tainted after they dated a black guy. And I had a black boyfriend at the time, so I was like, am I tainted? And so I called my brother on the line.
Yeah, I remember.
I'm like, would you care? And he's like, no. And you say it's cat.
Stop the cat. Yeah.
No, and it's funny at the time. To be fair, those girls, a lot of them did go on to date white guys from The Bachelor.
Sure, of course.
But it's like, I think if you're a certain level of hot, they just are like,
Yeah, they don't care. You're right.
Yeah.
No, you're right. Yeah, if you're extremely hot, like if you're a hard 10, most guys, white, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You'll get guys to date you. But if you're just a little bit more, like if you're like in the 5, 6, 7 range, and it really depends upon the value of the black guy. If the black guy has options, then he's gonna be like, okay, because we were just talking about this in the living room.
Yeah.
We niggas, we want to be the first. We want to be the first niggas that run up in white girls, and that's just, listen, that's an ego thing. That's not always the case.
Yeah, no, I do think I do think guys prefer to be like, black guys prefer to be the first.
The first. Yeah. You better believe it. Are you a virgin? No. Are you a virgin? You know what I'm saying? Oh, yes. Yeah, that's general. So what's your opinion on interracial dating? Because my girlfriend is white, and and a lot of people think you just like black guys. No, you're 6 feet tall. Like, you are a towering figure.
Yeah.
And we know that women are not trying to date men that are shorter than them, and black men, it would appear we have a higher percentage of tall guys in our race than white guys. So
that would make a lot of sense. I didn't know that, but that would make a lot of sense.
Well, yeah. I mean, and I don't know what the percentages are, but I mean, we live life. You live in another country. Yeah, there are tall white men and tall black men, but it just seems that there are more tall black guys than tall white guys.
So in dating, for me, race hasn't really been an issue.
Right.
It's been, the harder thing to me is like class. If like someone's from a very like a lower socioeconomic class to like a higher, I think that's more difficult than race.
Really?
As
a woman, I guess.
In my experience.
Wow.
Because I think that's harder than race.
Wow.
My mom, I was actually talking about something my mom, I'm trying to like be careful, but I'll just say it. My mom told me growing up that like, so if you're in middle class or upper middle class, you can date one up or one down, but it's really hard to skip two. And it's funny because Kevin Samuels, like before he passed away, like this is something he told me, like when I was asking him about my boyfriend at the time.
And by the way, just real quick for the record, you and Allie have both been in the crucible with Kevin Samuels. You guys have experience.
Well,
yes.
A lot of people don't know. I talked to him after the show.
Oh, did you?
And a lot of people don't know that.
I did not know that. How about that?
Yeah, and he basically told me not to be with the guy I was dating at the time, and he was like you could date an Ivy League guy, like you could do that, and
Kevin was right,
but it's kind of like, because, and it's kind of goes back to what my mom said, where I'm like, I grew up like upper middle class because my parents do well, but it wasn't always that way.
Sure.
And so it's like you can go one up to like Ivy, and then there's like elite, I would say.
Yeah.
But it's like it would be hard for someone, and I could go like down to middle class, maybe like lower middle class, but it would be really hard for me to date someone that like comes from like the hood, because it's just like the values tend to be different.
Yep.
So personally, I'm just saying personally, I found that like different social classes is harder than race. Because if you grow up in the same area, like if someone grew up down the road from me, we kind of grew up around the same people, have the same values.
Yeah. I guess, that does make sense. You got something?
Oh, closer.
Oh,
okay.
Okay. Yeah. I'll get up and move it over.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. Cool.
Okay.
It's interesting to hear that from a woman's perspective. Now, from a man's perspective, I think if a man grows up in the upper middle class, upper socioeconomic status, I think he doesn't mind dating a couple down as long as the girl is hot enough. If she brings value, et cetera, et cetera. It's his family that will have the problem with that.
That's what I was gonna say, because even with my brothers, like they've had girls they've brought home where it's like we couldn't take you to certain things because of the way you carry yourself, and those were for fun, girl. My brothers do well with the ladies.
Recreational use only.
Shout out Adam.
Like Chris Pogson says, shout out 304s.
Yeah.
Shout out 304s. Yeah. But Pogson's a sneak. He's a sneak tip assassin. But yeah, I think it's interesting. I don't think I've ever talked about the socioeconomic implications of dating up or down. We know that women always want to date up, and you should want to date up.
Yeah.
I've never said, oh, well, girls only want to date guys who make money. Well, guys want to bang girls who are hot. It's literally the same thing.
Yeah.
But again, the economic class situation, it makes it really does add another element, because as a man, I never take that in consideration ever, because I'm a man. As far as I'm concerned, it doesn't matter. And I've dated rich girls all the way to trailer trash. And Devin, she comes from an upper middle class family, so we fit in really well. But I've always told her, I told her when we first started dating, she was like, "Oh yeah, my parents would love you." I said, well, of course they would love me now, but would they love me if you were 16 and I were 15? The answer to that would be no. So what does I'm sure your mom and dad are cool people. What does your family think about you dating interracially? Have you ever caught any flack or heat, or maybe got the side eye, or maybe one of your brothers is like, "Hey, Pearl, let me talk at you."
No, they don't care.
Okay. All right.
They don't. I mean, they've had like, I've had a boyfriend like they didn't like, but it wasn't anything to do with like race. They were pretty easygoing people. So
yeah, right.
my parents have always been like very much like, you can do what you want to do,
right?
And we'll support you, but like, don't complain later.
Right,
basically.
right. No, I got you. Guys, you are listening to the hashtag How to Relationship podcast. This is a special podcast with our special guest, Just Pearly Things, aka Pearl. You're very, very popular. You're very, very popular in the chat. So let's switch gears here and talk about your podcast. What was the aha moment? When did you know, I think I have something here? Because you're at over 460,000 subscribers now. And congratulations for that. Holy smokes, man. You work hard at it. You deserve all the success, because just like I told Devin was like, how in the world? Not that she doesn't respect that. I said, you do what 99.9% of content creators are unable to do. Get guests in studio. There's a reason why Joe Rogan has the most successful podcast in the world. And so Myron Gaines and the Fresh and Fit podcast, it's the same thing. So take me from the beginning, when you started to figure out, okay, maybe I have something here.
So in the beginning, I thought London was cool.
Okay.
Because I'd moved from Chicago to London to play volleyball.
Okay.
And what I thought was cool was on my team, I had a girl from Germany, a girl from England, a girl from America, a girl from Spain.
Okay.
And so what I was thinking is, wow, I can be in this city and I can talk to people that have completely different views on relationships.
Wow.
And I have never been in such a diverse area, because here you might meet someone from Alaska, Chicago, California, but how diverse is the thought process really?
Sure.
But Italy and I don't know, like I had a girl from Morocco on my show.
Wow.
Completely different.
Holy smokes.
And so you'll notice, I mean, the majority are British people, but there's still a good amount of people that come, and a lot of them are second generations. Their parents are like Nigerians. Or like
of course. Of course, yeah.
And so I just thought it would be really interesting to bring in these people to talk about relationships.
Okay.
it did switch a little bit to be more anti-feminism, I would say.
Yeah, I remember early on, it was every other video. I'm trying to convince my friend Jen. I'm trying to talk her out of feminism. Here's episode 1. Yeah.
And that was the light bulb. Was I had one video and it was like I red pilled my friend for the first time.
That's right.
And what I realized is like as women, we have all these lies that we like believe.
Yes.
And we're just like fed into. And if you don't have strong men in your life, like I think we're very like I don't know the word, but like
self-destructive.
Yeah, sort of.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, modern women are the default for modern women is self-destruction.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Well, and even just like more liberal.
Yeah,
like
of course.
because I think we're more kind, caring, and like compassion. Like it's called agreeable, the trait, and I think like it's out of a good place. Like we want to help.
Sure.
But I think it leads to like terror. and so it's like we believe all these like the pay gap and like it's because we're like so I think it's partially entitlement, partially empathetic,
right?
But and so I realized that there's all these girls that I really like and they're reasonable, but they believe these things that are so stupid.
Yes.
And it could have been me, because if I take a personality test, it says I'm a diehard liberal.
Really?
Yeah, and that's why because I'm very creative. Oh, that's like why do you think a hippie, like why do we assume hippies are liberals? Because they're creative, open to experience.
Yeah, right.
They tend to be more liberal, where like people that are conservative tend to be type A. So I've always found that I get along better with people that are more liberal. So because
you're like a wolf in sheep's clothing.
Yeah, because conservatives like tend to be more boring, while liberals are like, let's go, and which is it's the trait openness. But and I was like, I like these girls, but they believe this stupid stuff. I wonder if I showed them this video, if it would change their view on the world.
Right.
And it really just started to, like, my friend Jess. Like, I took her on the show, and first she was arguing that like trans people should be like in the sports, and then like you got her a couple months later, she's like, nah, get them out.
Right. You want your skull cracked? You want to get dunked on?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And that's like because I was explaining to her, I'm like, I know it's out of like, she's such a nice person, it's out of like a place of being empathetic, like we don't want to exclude anybody, but I'm like, you realize this will be the end of our sport.
Yes.
Like they're going to start taking titles, and like how would you feel if you were playing behind someone with how hard we work? And like when you put it like that, it's like we're not doing it to exclude them. It's just because we want a right to our sports.
Right. And it's funny because a lot of women who play sports were pro transformer. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
Until people like Leah Thomas came along, the swimmer from Penn State. She used to be a he. I'm trying to be very careful here. And he dominated. Of course he did. Yeah. And then, of course, there are also MMA fights. There was one, I forget what the girl's name is, Fallon Fox.
Yes.
Gave some chick a concussion, beat her up for 45 seconds. Like, that's dangerous.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And again, a lot of times I think, like, I would see people like coming at like getting somewhat aggressive towards women, and like, no, I don't want to, because a lot of times the girls kind of deserve it.
Yeah,
like
they do.
They're being rude, but I just know how to like talk to girls to kind of like calm them down a little bit.
Listen, this is what separates you from everybody else. That's literally what it is. You have an incredible sense of reading the room. But you're very good at de-escalating while also disagreeing. And it's so funny because there are so many gotcha moments on your podcast where what you say is true, but the way it's coming from another woman, and you're never aggressive. Listen, I'm a guy. When I'm on Fresh and Fit, I'm telling these bitches, you're capping, you're full of shit, fuck you, blah, 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 blah. And, of course, a lot of that is a little more theatrical than it should be. But most of the time, it really is because I feel that way. And sometimes that just doesn't go over well.
Yeah.
But if one of ours is sitting right here, she's the host and she's going to agree, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. It's almost like they don't see you coming. They're like, whoa, wait a minute, this girl is not on our side. What the hell is going on?
And I really don't blame you guys for like coming that way, because a lot of times like they deserve it.
Dude, these fucking deserve it. I swear to God.
Yeah, but it's just like, I don't know. I always try to like calm them down a little bit. And it's crazy. I've never kicked anyone off the show in 6 months, which is
really?
like never.
Wow.
Have
you come close?
Yes. Yes. I have never actually. We would get him to like, okay.
Oh my God, I would love to, dude. I would love to see you kick somebody off the show.
Oh, it would take a lot. It would, yeah.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you what. If you were privy to the same kinds of, let's compare your guest pool to the Fresh and Fit guest pool.
I wish I had that guest pool.
Really?
Oh, I wish.
You've sat on the panel with these girls, have you not?
Yeah.
You really listen. Man. I don't know how Myron does it.
They make great TV.
They
make
do.
Great
They
TV.
make.
I think a battle of ideas like is better.
Sure.
If I could, oh God, I wish they do a great job recruiting.
They do a very good job. They actually recruit themselves, to be honest with you. But you still get that same kind of disagreement on your show without the Miami thottery crazy stuff. You understand what I mean? Or what's the well, let's talk about this. What's the difference between the people that you have to pick from and Fresh and Fit? Like, are they better, worse? I mean, what are some differences that you've noticed?
I mean, we have less girls that have OnlyFans, definitely, and strippers.
Yeah, like, I don't literally the Fresh and Fit podcast. They all have OnlyFans.
Yeah, I could probably count how many girls actually had that I know of. I don't know,
exactly. Yeah,
that
right.
Like we're plugging it on the show. Like I can't less than 5, maybe.
Wow. I think Fresh and Fit had 5 on yesterday.
I don't know.
Is slut shaming more effective in the UK than it is in the United States?
The girls are a little different in the UK.
Really? How so?
They're not. They do the same, but I would say like they're a little bit like more secret. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yep. They're not as upfront about it.
That's how like they kind of dress a little bit more classy, I would say, than like, and partially it's a little colder. So
yes. Oh, the weather fucking sucks there, dude. Oh my God, I don't know how you do it.
Yeah. But I don't know. I would say, especially early on, like it was a lot of athletes.
Okay.
But the mindset is still.
That was my next question. The mindset is the same.
Mindset's still there. I would just say it's less extreme because I think most people are more in the middle or really haven't thought through their opinions.
Sure.
They just like kind of regurgitate.
Yeah, and then when they get in front of somebody like you, then they're like, I wonder if I've been thinking about this all wrong. Allie D, Real Femme Sapien, is in the chat. Allie the Assassin with the $10 super chat. She says, miss you guys. I also saw where she looks like she's feeling some type of way. She says, you guys didn't tell me. Devin and I, we're going to fly out to, we're going to try to get out to Kansas this fall to visit Allie.
Don't worry, Allie. He didn't tell me either till yesterday.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah. By the way, Pearl's coming. Yeah, absolutely. Jay Blaze 11 with the $2 super chat says, shout out to the Not All Women podcast.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people are like, why don't you do the Not All Women podcast? Because the purpose, and it's the same thing with the 6. I started the original 6. That was awesome. Me, Myron, Kevin, Solo, Lacario, I always forget one, and Minister Jap. The purpose of that was to give these guys a platform to jump off and do bigger things. Mm-hmm. Kevin did what he did. Myron did what he did. Minister Jab did what he did. And so I can't ask people to give up their time when, that was the purpose. Like I wanted to be a jumping off point. So I'm not going to be like, well, now Pearl, I did this and I did that for you. No, that was the idea. I wanted you to, fly out of the nest. Allie's over 100,000 subscribers. You're going to hit 500,000 before the end of the year. And it's mission accomplished. That's why.
Yeah. I also think like, people want to see us talk to people that disagree more.
Yes, of
course. I feel like those podcasts are kind of like training grounds before we're like soldiers going into war.
There you go. That is the key. And I'll never forget, that's when I started to switch my mindset and I hadn't thought about the HTR podcast yet, but I'll never forget where you told me people like conflict.
Yeah.
Conflict is what people like to watch because the manosphere, the red pill, It's basically a bunch of guys. It is an echo chamber to a degree. It's an echo chamber. Now, it is also a community. An echo chamber is kind of a negative connotation, but I agree with you. It is a crucible in which we can share ideas, get ourselves fortified for battle, and I think we did a pretty goddamn good job on the 6 because Kevin is undefeated and Myron's undefeated. Dude, I can't imagine Jap on the phone with these bitches. Oh my god, his ass would get canceled in a hurry. But
He's perpetually canceled.
Dude, he is like he's shadow banned on people's phones, man. Like that dude is crazy. Shout out to Minister Jap, by the way. But yeah, I agree with you. I liked I loved the Not All Women podcast, but you guys have your own shit going on now. When did you have you ever seen somebody's mind change during the show?
Yeah, I've had multiple times. I've had multiple
Really?
girls. Yeah, I've had a lot of girls end the show and say they're not feminists anymore.
What?
Yeah, that they wouldn't. Cause I mean, I'm sure they still have some feminist ideas, but yeah, like they'll say, you know what? Now that I think about it, like I'm not a feminist.
Holy shit! Just like that.
Yeah.
Well, they admitted on the show.
Yeah, they have.
Dude, that will never happen in America. That would never ever happen in America.
No, I think it would. I mean, I would say Jess. Like she's an American.
Yeah, she is.
And
she is.
and it's funny. I had a friend in England. She's American though.
Oh, okay.
And she's like a diehard feminist.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. But
The 304?
at one point, she said, "I can't be your friend anymore because of the stuff you post and like this." And
I was going to ask you about that.
And
yeah.
it's funny. She like came back and apologized.
What?
And she said, "I can't get you out of my head. Like I know what you would say to things." And I'm
you
like, "You can't
serious?
get rid of me. You can't." Yeah.
Wow.
And she was like, "Yeah, like I think I just overreacted and like
How
yeah."
about that?
Yeah.
I have a question
Go
for
ahead.
Pro real quick. According to your analytics, what percentage of your viewers are male and female?
It's like a little it's like mostly men. I'd say it's like 92% men.
Oh, okay.
Or
Wow,
90,
interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. I think Kevin's was like, I think Kevin had like 65% women.
Shut
Yeah.
up.
Yes.
Wow.
When women watch your show, you blow up. Kevin was here's the thing. This is what connects all of us. We're confrontational people. Yeah, this is just what they do. We are confrontational people. We are not afraid to disagree with someone in person. There are not a lot of people who can do that. That's why some guests react the way they do on your show. Some guests react the way they do on Fresh and Fit because they're like, whoa, wait a minute. You're disagreeing with me and you're right in front of me. Just like you said, that makes for great TV. But right. Yeah, it does make for good TV. But in the end, I think by changing women's mind, like you changing a friend's mind, I think that's saving lives, man. I really like what we do is good. We're not trying to poison anybody. We're just trying to tell you, hey, man, here's what's going on. And if you understand this line of thinking, your life will be better for it.
And I have something that I'm going to release soon. It's in the works. It's like actually I'm very solution oriented.
Okay, all right.
And so we have all these women that weren't like raised to be wives, right? And I can even say like I never try to act like I'm better than anyone or anything. And I was like, we should have like a wife school.
Oh my God.
Turn 304s into wives, baby.
Turn hoes into housewives.
And so I'll bring in, I'm gonna get, and it's kind of in the works. There's gonna be like sessions, and it's gonna be like,
my God.
and it's gonna be like, basically, we're gonna bring in actual wives. And they're like, because they'll always say in the comments, well, you're not a wife, and I'm like, I'm not leading the training.
Step one, Idaho.
Yes. Oh, yes. She hashtag Idaho. That's Ho into Housewife University.
Yeah, basically.
That is triple HU.
And
Unbelievable.
so what I want to do is there'll be like, like a fashion class and like on how to dress like a
this is
wife.
gonna be
We'll be like,
awesome.
put the hoop earrings down.
Yes, put the hoop earrings down. Put the pearl necklace on.
Yeah, and then it's gonna be like etiquette school, and like I'm gonna have different and then another one I want to do is approaching men. Because it's kind of like a lot of girls, and I'd say myself included, like, when's the last time you actually went up to a guy that, like, what percent of guys do you find attractive? And it's like,
Jesus.
so it's like, so you should probably go after the ones you want.
Right.
And if the ones you want keep not wanting you, then drop it down a little bit.
Of course.
But it's like, how can you complain if you don't get the outcome you want if you don't go for it? Like, like you might take an L, but
Sure.
I'd rather go down saying I went for what I wanted.
And you are the exception to the rule.
Yeah.
And that is not like you're different in that regard because, dude, most women can't stomach rejection. Most women can't stand being rejected even when the guy approached them, much less going up to a guy and trying to hit on him. That's not what women are designed to do.
And the thing is, like, a lot of times I think as women we get resentful. Like if we do a lot for a guy, we resent him, but it's kind of like okay, I feel like it's like, you know, do your best, and like if you take the L, you take the L. It happens. Move on. Yeah. You know, but we can't like do a lot for a guy and then throw it in his face later. That doesn't really make sense.
It's called
like,
scorekeeping, man.
Yeah,
can't do
it's
that.
like it's
nope,
like if you do a lot, do it because you actually want him to do well with or without you.
Right.
You know.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. And the thing is, this is. Especially in, I'm sure on your podcast and as well as Fresh and Fit, anytime you ask women, would you do X, Y, Z for a man? 11 times out of 10, the answer is always no. And the reason why it's no, bless you, the reason why it's no, Devin's still under the weather, guys, bless her heart. But the reason why the answer is no is because they're thinking of this imaginary disembodied guy. They're not really thinking about a guy who has everything they want.
Well, and I think a lot of times they'll think of the guy they did everything for and got nothing out of it.
There you go.
But it's like, how many times do guys take us on dates and get nothing out of it?
Dude.
And they do so much for us. So like, yeah, like but a lot of times like we can't even be like we're not even emotional enough to like be able to put your like feelings out there. And if you take the L, you take the L, learn from it and move on. Like,
my God,
what
dude.
Else like even my dad, like he's so funny because his like dating advice is so simple. Like I remember there was a guy that I was like, Dad, like I really like him, but he said like he's just not like he doesn't like me or whatever.
Right.
And he's like, okay, yeah, so find someone who does.
Well, okay. Well, all right, Dad.
I was like, well, God damn.
But I don't want the guy who likes me. I want the guy who doesn't like me, Dad. I'm a woman. I'm a woman. That's how it goes. Yeah. Is your dad aware of what you do to the degree that you do it? Or is he just kind of like, my daughter does a podcast?
No, he knows what I do. I mean, he agrees with some stuff. And you know what's funny?
Really?
You know what he disagrees with? When he says, like, women should date older men. My dad's so logical. He's like, they should date younger men because women live longer. Yeah, and I was like... Well, I guess from like a practical perspective.
What? Hey, your dad is a smart guy, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mr. Pearl. Jay Blaze with the $5 super chat says liberals should watch Pearl's conservative Jess. Most people are shown liberal ideas are correct. Love the idea of finishing school for women, Pearl. I actually had a conversation with Tallulah on my podcast about finishing school and how beneficial it would be to women. Do you think that modern women would even consider going to finishing school? Or to me, that would be completely out of the question. There's no way they would ever even go for that.
I think most won't, but I think some will. I think there's some girls out there that are generally like confused about men.
Okay.
And I would say like, you know, like even me, like there's some things I didn't understand about men until I started watching Red Pill content.
Right.
And you know,
what kind of things didn't you understand about men? Because this is the Red Pill community, as you probably figured out, it's very unforgiving. They don't like it when women come into the space. They really don't. So what's that? So what have you learned about men from the outside looking in rather from the inside, if that makes sense?
I'll give you an example.
Okay.
I feel like I've been in a relationship where like I was hurt by someone.
Okay.
And so I kind of looked for problems with the next person.
Oh, okay.
And I just realized like I was like a headache to him
Yeah.
because like I was looking for problems and I would say like, you know, if a guy is gonna cheat or gonna do something like that, like you kind of just has to let him do what he's gonna do.
Okay.
And I don't condone cheating. I don't like it.
Sure.
But it's like what good is it gonna do for you to like look like it's kind of like it's not feminine to like look for problems.
No,
it's kind of like
it's not.
if it comes to you, that's one thing.
Sure.
But I think that's like, I don't want to say like let him cheat, but and I feel like men are more likely to be faithful to you if you just like if you're
leave us the fuck alone.
And men don't want to talk to us either. That's the other thing I learned.
That is listen, that was going to be my next question, the transition. I'm going to read the super chat, then we'll get into that. Age of Machines, $5 super chat. He said that disembodied comment is real. With women, mom included, I have to check them and ask them, what did I say, or how does that apply to me? Yeah. Again, hey, would you ever cook for a man? Hell no. Oh, would you cook for Denzel Washington? Well, yes, of course you would.
Yeah.
That just proves that you're not thinking. And listen, to be fair to the women, when you ask, would you do XYZ for a man? There's no qualifications. You're just telling a man, just average rank and file man. Approaching, talking, when you say that men don't want to talk to you anymore, what does that mean?
Oh, like men, it's like when they get home, they just want to relax.
Oh, yes.
Whereas
yes.
women, like, we want to tell you about our day. and I remember, like, I've been in a relationship where, like, I came back, like, and he was like, could you just...
Could you just please just...
And I remember being like, that was so rude. But, like, it's kind of like as women, a lot of times we take things personal.
Sure.
And I think we're partially narcissistic. And, like, we
really?
think... Yeah, just women in general. We think everything's about us.
Yes, you do.
When sometimes it's like, that's just how guys are. They don't want to talk to you. They don't want to hear about
It's not personal. We just need a little bit of space. That's all.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, so you gotta... I'll just be sitting in my room. Like, go talk to your girlfriends. Like,
wow, that is what you are saying. The things that you say. Okay. Oh, that's my recruiter actually.
Okay.
The things that. Oh, perfect. By the way, we are going to have a menstrual cycle coach on the hashtag How to Relationship podcast.
Say what?
On Saturday. Yeah, listen. I'm open-minded. But to hear you say, hey, this is how we are. We're a little bit narcissistic. We think everything's about us. The transparency, even sitting there, the transparency. Pearl just learned about the extent of my criminal record.
Yeah, I did not
I told
know.
her the whole story. But even you admitted, hey, we love us, the bad boys. We like guys with criminal, and women don't openly talk about that like you do.
Yeah, because I don't think we consciously, like, no,
of course not.
Yeah, like, we don't think about it.
No.
So we don't. And, like, even when I was saying, like, oh, we kind of like the guys that cheat.
Yes.
And that's why I'm like, if we didn't like cheaters, why are we all getting cheated on?
There you
like,
go. There it is.
And I used to not, like, and I don't agree with it. But
Of course not.
But it's kind of like, and I think we all want a guy that could cheat and would be faithful
There
to
you go.
us. That, like,
There you
that's
go.
the ideal.
Yes.
But it's like we all start, like, how do relationships start nowadays? It's situationships.
It's all the ways.
And that's why I say, like, you're a side chick trying to get promoted to the
Oh
final
my
round.
God.
That's why I tell them, Michelle, I'm like, modern women are side chicks because, like, what are you in a situationship? What is that? You're a side chick.
Well,
Like,
I'm in a situationship, and they say it with pride. Yeah, the guy I'm in a situationship has a yacht. Yeah, but he also has a wife and another side chick. So where does that leave you? You know, it's ridiculous.
I didn't say wife in there.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Very good.
No, I don't condone. Don't do that. Don't do that, ladies.
But what you just said.
What I mean is like a guy like that's has multiple, you know.
No, of course.
Yeah.
But what you just said is apropos a little while ago. Women, and I say this, I've been saying this for years, women neverly consciously think about what's going on in the firmware.
Yeah.
So when they actually hear it out loud for the first time, their initial reaction is to disagree, right?
Yeah.
You would you take your boyfriend back if he cheated? Well, 12 out of 10 girls are going to say no. But then you ask them, have you ever taken back a cheating boyfriend? Then they're kind of like, well, okay.
And you know what's funny? A lot of times when he stops cheating, like, you know what's funny? What I realized, and I did this too. I can't even like blame it. It's like when they cheat, you'll take him back, but you're mentally getting ready to leave.
Yep.
And so that's what they'll do. And like even if he doesn't cheat for a couple more months, you're gone. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
well, it depends on the guy's value too.
Yeah, true.
Right?
But
Depends on his value.
Yeah, but it's interesting because a lot of times when I ask like girls. Like when he's not cheating, that's when they leave.
There you go.
Like, guys, we don't even fucking know.
But listen, you're all right. You're 100% right. If you cheated on me, blah 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 blah, they take him back. All of a sudden, now he's checking in. He's being open. He's being honest, etc., etc. Now they leave because he's just not the same person. No.
Now he's boring.
Dude, and I've asked this question on the Fresh and Fit podcast before. I asked these girls, would you rather be with a man who cheats or a man who is boring? And it was fucking crickets, because they'd never been forced to think about it from that perspective. That's that verbal non-confirmation where they're like, wait a minute, I've never really thought of it that way. Because would you want a boring man? No. Would you want a guy who cheats? No. Okay. If either or, because a lot of times it is either or. If a guy is boring, probably couldn't cheat. If a guy could cheat, he's probably not boring.
Yeah.
Female nature, I'll tell you what. Oh, is one of our cats going crazy? Oh, okay. Men approaching women. There are articles coming out all the time about guys that are checking out of the dating market. Guys that are saying, you know what, they're throwing up their hands, or like, you know what, I can't do this anymore. I'm not messing with American women. What are your thoughts on Western guys, Western men checking out of the dating market? What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I understand it. And it's interesting. When I first started in Red Pill, I didn't, because I'm very much pro like family and marriage. And I was like, why wouldn't men want to get married? But,
oh my God, yeah.
But it's like, okay, the product, like let's just say women, like you guys are the buyers, we're the product, are worse than ever before. We're less pure. We're older. We're less loyal. And we're paid to leave.
Yes.
We're literally paid. Like, you could be a single mother and you're paid to do it. You're paid to get divorced. Like, so it's like, even, like, I think men and women are both shitty. And this is a lot of times, men,
I agree with that.
Equally.
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
But I think if you take away the consequence for one gender, they're going to get shittier.
Of course they are.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and it's like, I think if men were paid to leave, marriages, they'd be leaving these sexless whales.
Oh my God.
They would be gone.
They would totally, yeah. I'll tell you what.
If they were paid. But they're like, no, what do you think you get the phrase, it's cheaper to keep her?
Oh
like,
my God. Well, and listen, if she's a whale, it might not be.
Dude, I've had the exact same thoughts about that too. It's like, well,
about men being paid to leave?
No, like if divorce rates are higher, women file for divorce because they have everything to gain.
They have the incentive, exactly.
You're paid to do it.
Yeah.
So like, if
I was gonna lose half my stuff, I'd deal with a sexless marriage too. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then it's like, guys are like, you know what, we won't get married. But then there's common law marriage. So it's like the government is like, twisted, and I'm not going to act like I know the ins and outs of it.
Sure.
But just from the general that I know, I'm like, so basically, even if guys want to have a relationship and deal with what they like have, and they still, even though we're older, less pure, if they still say, you know what, I still want to give it a go because I want a woman, I don't want to be alone. The government still says, no, you must.
You must. Here's the thing. One of the 4 pillars of feminism is the transference of resources from men to women. And the way this used to work, and it kind of changes by the decade. And so the way it used to work, if you got married and she decided to divorce you, no fault divorce. Just like you said, women are paid to leave. Okay, men started walking away from marriage, but they kept putting babies in women.
Right.
So the government said, okay, we're going to increase the child support, deadbeat dads, blah, 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 blah. Thanks to Bill Clinton for that. Now guys are starting to wrap up and they don't want to have kids with these hoes out here. So then comes the common law marriage. Hey, if you live for there, I think that in the state of Georgia, some guy told us, if a woman is under your roof for more than 30 days, you can't legally kick her out. So there's that, then there's common law marriage. So now guys are like, no cohabitation, no relationships. But you want to know how they still transfer resources from women to men? Dating apps. Because women aren't paying for dating apps. It's the men who are paying for dating apps. The purpose of dating apps are not to bring happy couples together. No, the purpose of dating apps is to make money. Women aren't buying Tinder gold. It's the men that are buying Tinder gold, right? Women don't pay to get into the club. Women don't pay to get in the club. Men do all the paying. So that's how, because it's almost as men continue to adjust to try to dodge the long arm of the government law, taking their resources, giving them to women. Now it comes to a point, I'm a guy, I'm unmarried, I have no kids. You want to know my tax bill was last year? $36,000. That's going to the single mothers for welfare, Medicaid, et cetera, et cetera. So even though I am reproductively responsible, at least not that, I don't know if I have any kids out there if I do, but even though I am a reproductively responsible man, I don't have a bunch of kids, I am not married, I'm not on dating apps, the government still finds a way to transfer my resources to women.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, you guys keep paying for our bad decisions.
Yes.
So it's like I always say, like, women have no consequences for anything.
Nothing.
It's
Nothing.
like, okay, if we want to sleep around, we have birth control. Okay, and even if we get pregnant off of birth control, we have abortion. Even if we keep the kid, we're paid to be a single mother.
There you
Even
go.
if we get married, we're paid to get divorced.
Wow.
And I was like, if we're bad with our money, there's women's shelters and then government benefits where men are just homeless. I'm like, we literally can't make a bad decision.
Nope.
And get bail. And there's simps at the end of the day to
that's
marry
right.
the single mom.
That's right.
And I don't, I don't necessarily like blame simps in a way. I do and I don't like.
Let me ask you this. What is your definition of a simp?
I think it's like putting women on a pedestal that like clearly don't deserve it.
I think my definition of a simp, and to me, it's very simple. I was actually going to release a short about this. The definition of a simp is a man who gives an undeserving woman access to his time, his energy, his attention, and resources. That's it.
That's a good definition.
Doing shit for women that they don't deserve. A lot of guys say, well, Donovan got Devin a boob job. Donovan bought, Donovan bought Devin a pair of $2,000.
She's like your ride or die.
There
like,
you go.
Come on.
She earns, Devin will sit here and tell you, she has everything I've given her, she has earned. And the reason I do for her is because she deserves it. But most guys are doing shit for women that don't deserve it. All they're doing is giving up the butt. And a lot of times they don't even give up the butt, and they're still getting stuff from men.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable, man.
Yeah, and and I think that's why like women used to like to be courted and they don't now. I think it's because like deep down we know we ain't shit.
There you go.
Like, why are you doing all that?
There you go. Why are you doing all this extra stuff? I say this this is why I forget which law it is. I think it's law number 5 of the 49 laws of Sharp. Never treat a slut like a lady. And the reason why you don't treat a slut like a lady is because sluts don't know how to act when they actually get respect. This is why women shit on men who put them on a pedestal, because in her mind, and again, she's not thinking about this consciously, it's in the back of her mind. I'm a fucking hoe. I fucked 3 dudes last week. I've got 2 kids by 2 different men. I've got a tattoo of the ex that alpha widowed me. And I have sex with this guy before I go out on dates with him, yet he's calling me wife material. A woman cannot mentally respect a man who is that ignorant and oblivious to what modern women get up to. That's why these women run these guys through the mill.
Well, it's because we can't trust your judgment. Because clearly, like,
I'm trying to tell you.
Doesn't he know I'm a hoe?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and it's like how many of us, like, I think, how many of us are virgins anymore? We're not virgins.
The answer is no.
Yeah. So it's like, unless she's like a pure virgin, like, you don't have to do all that.
No, you really don't. So let's go back to the original question. So men walking away from relationships, and I say this a lot. There are times where I'm giving men advice on how to deal with modern women. But if somebody told me, all right, Donovan, if you had a son, what would you advise him to do in this dating market? My advice to my son, my brother, my father, whoever, leave the country. Leave the country. You can't, leave the country. Don't move to Australia, the UK, Canada, or the US. Now, there are some feminist hot pockets here and there, but by and large, women overseas it's just a better product out there. But then I think to myself, well, 99% of men don't have the resources or the fearlessness to move to another country. That's where I come in. Hey, listen, and a lot of guys complain, oh, I'm not going to date American women, blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, if you're not planning on moving overseas, then shut the fuck up. Nobody wants to hear you complain.
Well, and it's like, they're getting worse in 20 years. I don't think many of these other countries, like, I don't know. I've just heard, like, just because I'm in England, like, I hear feedback from people from more like Eastern European and other countries.
Yeah.
And the women are definitely better. They're in better shape.
Yep,
but like,
of course.
feminism is still coming.
Yep, it is.
It's
it
still
is.
coming.
It absolutely is.
You can't really guarantee. And even if you take her and you bring her into the U.S.,
oh
like,
my
what's
God, that's
that gonna? Yeah, like what?
A lot of guys are like, I'm gonna go to Southeast Asia. I'm gonna get a wife and bring her back here.
Good luck.
Dude, because listen, our culture has corrupted so many foreign women. They get to the States and they end up becoming worse than the American women because they're in better shape, they're prettier, they're younger. They're like, wow, I'm getting all this attention from all these guys. My husband's friends are all in my ear about girls' nights out, and people, especially women, cannot stand it when there's another woman who has the attention of a high value man that they don't have. And so what they will do is they will attempt to sabotage that relationship. Yeah, come out with us for the girls' night out. Your husband will never know, X, Y, Z, et cetera, et cetera. Never bring a foreign woman back to America. It is, it is the biggest mistake you'll ever make.
And like, I think it's, two different cultures can be hard. And I think if you like, do you want to live in a different culture away from your family? I don't know.
Well, that's the trade-off.
I just don't know if that's practical. I mean, they could want to do it, but I'm just thinking about my brothers. I'm like, I don't think they'd be happy like living in.
No, you're right, and that's the trade-off. So listen, you'd have access to higher quality women, but you'd be separated from your home country.
Yeah.
Like that's the price you have to pay.
Yeah.
Listen, get a passport, come back and visit your family. But even if I don't know where you're from the Wisconsin area. Me and my brothers and sisters, we all live in different states. It would be nothing for me to move to another country because I see my family once a year if I'm lucky. So if you think about it from that standpoint, but you're right, that is an incredible price to pay. But to get access to women who are respectful, who are appreciative, who are not talking to you out of the side of their neck, that's worth it to a man. That is 100% worth it. What you got?
What role do you think that socioeconomic status has on keeping women feminine? Do you think the poorer women are, the more feminine they are? Or if you, for example, if you take her from a lifestyle where she's like in a countryside port or whatever her country, and then you even move to her country, but yet you bring your money with you, all of a sudden she's more, does that bring more entitlement as well?
No, it doesn't, because the culture around her does not promote that entitlement. If you were, I would not ever recommend that a man move to Russia. If you like Russian girls, can't even really move to Ukraine. Just wait until that's all situated with Putin and the boys up there.
I'm trying to think. I had a lot of different nannies from other countries.
Yeah.
Germans raise really good kids, but they're kind of feminist. I low key would recommend Germany. Germany is in a lot of trouble. Yeah, economically, it's there's a guy in my. I meant the women.
Oh, the women? Yeah, okay. Well, go get a German woman and then maybe move to Croatia.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just thinking like which ones made the best nannies growing up. I'm like the Germans. They are a little bit feministy though. So,
sure.
But like they do submit to their men. They'll talk this game. They'll be like, I don't submit, and then they'll be cooking him breakfast in the morning.
Yep, right. And wear nothing but apron and heels. Yeah, listen. Tell your girlfriends whatever you got to tell them. You gotta be strong for your girlfriends. It is what it is.
Asia, they have the best outcomes. I recommend Asia.
Yeah, listen, yellow fever and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
But you gotta live out there, dude. MLD, Jonathan. And it really depends on what your family situation is. Jonathan MLD came from fucking nothing. Like this dude grew up dirt fucking poor. This dude clawed his way out of poverty, and now he's worth 7 figures. But his family situation was very chaotic. He was raised by a single mom. His dad is an alpha Chad. His dad had a one-night stand, I think, with his mom. MLD, if I'm messing that up, I apologize. But MLD grew up in chaos. He doesn't really have the same kind of family structure that you do. Your family structure is very rare. But he said, you know what? I mean, listen, my family ain't shit. American women ain't shit. He moved to Japan. He's not coming back.
And that's the thing. Like a lot of modern women don't realize your kids will grow up and see what you did.
Yes.
They will see. Like a lot of them, like they think that the kids are stupid. I'm like, they're young, they might be naive, but one day they're going to wake up and realize their mom's a hoe who put herself first my whole life. Oh my God. And they're going to, and people are going to find out.
Yeah.
We just saw proof of that with Kim Kardashian getting not only booed at the Rams game, but people shouting at her, calling her a hoe in front of her kids and all, and telling her why isn't she sucking a you know what? And like in front of her family.
Yeah. Actions have consequences, man. And Kim Kardashian has done she's done such a good job promoting this hoe lifestyle. I really wonder, I'd really be interested to find out what she thinks of that. Like what, like Kim, like in an honest moment, what are Kim and Courtney and Chloe, our kids, are they going to find out what the hell's going on and what do we do?
Yeah, and that's the thing, like, I'm really big into, like, women. You can do what you want to do.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
You can do what you want to do, but, like, don't complain later.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
life is about choices, and, like, Kevin would always say, life is about choices and trade-offs, and everything you do has risk.
That's right.
There's no guaranteed good outcome. Like,
Nope.
you could do everything right and still have a bad outcome.
This is this is what a lot of men will complain. Oh, women aren't this and women aren't that. But what men don't understand is that there are no guarantees.
None.
Sometimes you're just not compatible. That's just how it is. I tell guys all the time, you can do everything right and the shit can still be fucked up. Now, doing everything right and still having things blow up in your face, it's more likely to happen here in the States than anywhere else. But nothing comes without risk. And there are so many guys in this community who want a completely risk-free girl. She's got to be a virgin. I'm not committing to anyone who's not a virgin, who's not hot, who doesn't know how to cook, who doesn't have daddy issues. Well, guess what? Now we got to break out the Myron. Now we got to break out the fresh and fit delusion calculator because those girls just don't exist, fam.
Well, yeah, and it's like you could even get a virgin, but the virgins of, I've said this earlier, the virgins of today aren't the virgins of yesterday.
No, they're not. They are curious.
They're curious, and I've heard story after story after story of like, oh, I had a virgin girl, and then like she started to get curious and she left.
There you go.
And I know like the stat is like that virgins have an 80% chance of a happy marriage, but I'm like, that's if you get them down the aisle.
If you,
like,
That's true.
and I'm pro like waiting. Like I think that's great. And I would say if that's like that's probably your best bet if you can get one. But like, yeah, good luck.
It really is. It's a sad state of affairs between men and women. But this is why I do what I do, because I want people to be happy. I want men and women to have good relationships. I really, really do. Because I've lived that player life, and as much fun as it was, and I say this all the time, as much fun as it was, my life is 10 times better than it. I mean, don't get me wrong. The Las Vegas was a magic carpet ride, but it really, really was, dude. I don't think I've ever been more excited. Dude, 95% of the girls I have ever banged right there in Las Vegas, that's really where I became who I was. But what it comes down to is that there are costs to that lifestyle. A $500,000 legal bill that I had to pay for all of the trouble that I got into. I snorted my weight in Coca-Cola while I was there. Can't tell you how many thousands of dollars I blew on that. Chasing girls to do this, and it was really just kind of a waste of time. But there's something to be said about being in a good relationship with a woman that you really do love, and not necessarily trust, but trust that she will follow your leadership. Because the player life is, listen, Myron and Fresh are exactly who I was 10 years ago. It was girls and car. I mean, dude, I've had all that, and it's a great time. But relationships meant, Kevin says this he used to say this all the time. Men and women, we're better together, man. We are so much better together. Unfortunately, we've never been worse. And this is why I exist. I want to show guys, hey, you know what? It's a lot harder than it used to be. And it's next to impossible to have the kind of relationship that satisfies both the man and the woman. But I mean, I gotta keep fighting the good fight.
Yeah, and all you can do is like work with what you got and move forward.
Yeah,
that's why I'm doing 304 to wife school for the hoes that want to be better. Some of y'all are stuck in the streets forever.
If you want to be, the streets is cold.
And I won't ask you to do anything that I have not done. I'm trying to learn to cook better. I'm trying to learn to clean better. I will not ask you to do anything I have not done.
So this hoe to housewife school, is this going to be a spoof, or is this going to be for real?
Well,
kind of both.
Yeah, I have to make it entertaining.
Of course.
Like I can't.
Of course.
I can't spend money on something and not record.
No, of course not. Of course.
But I mean, my hope, like, I'd like to do the housewife training, and then I'd like to do like a matchmaking at some point.
This is what Kevin This is what Kevin evolved into on the back end. There are yes, he's telling me all the time. There are people within his Facebook community. I think he ended up introducing 8 couples, husbands and wives, and they owe their relationship because Kevin said, "Hey, we have men who are traditional, and there are women who want to be traditional. They got together and they made it work." So, and the reason why they trusted him is because of his track record and credibility. Well, it's the same thing with you.
Yeah. So that's my. I have actually a whole like forms of people that sent me their information for matchmaking.
What?
Yeah,
Wow.
I started collecting them just to see. But I wanted to see like what the men options were a lot better than the women. I won't lie to you.
Of course,
Yeah.
of course,
Someone
of course.
told me they're a 30-year-old virgin. I'm like, stop it.
Oh,
Like,
give me a break. Oh, yeah. Come on.
Yeah, I'm like, girl, like, could you just lie? like
Yeah, right?
Like, could you lie better? Like, lie better.
Yeah, come on. Like you don't have to a 30-year-old virgin. Like, listen, at least tell me you've got a body count of 10. Don't tell me you're a fucking virgin. Like, give me a break with that.
But I was like, but I don't know. I have to like do things like that's down the line.
That
but,
sounds exciting.
Yeah.
It really, really does.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Can you imagine? And this is probably something that Devin and I could do. Vaughn says, I'm pissed I didn't get the notification. Yeah, this channel is the Nas Wodab. I can't say it out loud, but it's obvious that it is SB'd. I would like to, obviously this will happen when we move out west, but yeah, do like a matchmaking, whatever, and then have it live stream it. Okay, This is Michelle and this is Michael. Michelle, welcome to the whatever show this is. So, Michelle, tell me about yourself. Michael, tell me about yourself. What are you looking for? What are you looking for? Blah, blah, blah. I think that would be entertaining.
You could analyze it too and say
Oh my God. That would be so cool.
She like.
So Michelle, what happened in your last relationship? Oh, he was toxic. He was evisuba. He was blah, blah, blah. Really? What happened? Well, he put hands on me. Oh, okay.
Did you put hands on him? Did you put hands on? Stop it. I don't believe women anymore. I used to believe women. I used to.
But now you don't.
No, I'm
not.
like,
They
I've
all
had
use
so
the same
many
story.
girls. Yeah, I'm like, I've had too many girls on my show that they've all been abused.
Yes,
and
all of
you
them.
have all this trauma, but why didn't you go to the police?
There you go.
I'm sorry, Donovan, if you punched me in the face, I would be at the police station.
I'm gonna disagree. If I punched you in the face, you would not be at the police station.
Be
You'd
at the
probably be
hospital.
at the hospital. Yes, you would. Not that I would. Not that I ever would. I will. Just on the record, I will never punch bro.
If I made it out, I would. I'm a tattletale. I am going to the police. I am pressing every possible charge. And they're like, no, I loved him. And I'm like, what do you mean you loved him? He was punching you.
Yes,
and
yes.
I'm like, it doesn't make sense because if he was really abusing you, like, where is an average guy could beat the shit out of you.
Oh, easy.
So I'm like, this doesn't, like 2 + 2 = 4. This
You're right.
doesn't equal, and you were so afraid of speaking up, but you're coming on my podcast.
You're telling 15, dude, this is the interesting thing.
Yeah.
And I actually called this out. I've been on Fresh and Fit countless times, and every girl says, yeah, I was in an abusive relationship. And I said, okay. And I asked one girl, I was like, oh, really? Abusive? So did he put hands on you? Yeah, he put hands on me. Okay. All right. How much time did he get? What are you talking about? You went to the cops, right? Well, no, blah, 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 blah. And I said, okay, so wait a minute. I didn't want to go to the cops because there was a stigma. I said, okay, so wait a minute. You had trouble going to the cops and telling them that you were being abused. Mm-hmm. You had trouble with that, but you have no problem telling 12,000 live viewers your harrowing experience. Dude, it's all cap. It's just like the EPAR thing. If a girl, and I'll explain, if a girl tells you, I was in an abusive relationship, she is radioactive. Because if she's lying, and she probably is, that means she might accuse you of doing something like that. If she's not lying, if she really was in an abusive relationship, then we know she has serious judgment impairment because she stayed with an abusive guy. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing as EPAR. How many girls say that they were EPAR, spelled backwards? I want to stay away from that word. There are so many girls who claim to have been EPAR'd, and the definition is so subjective. It's such a wide definition. You know what? Actually, I was EPAR'd 3 years ago, blah, 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 blah. It's absolutely ridiculous. So if a girl tells you, well, I was EPAR'd, she's radioactive, because if she's lying, she could accuse you of EPAR. If she's not, she's damaged beyond repair. Girls have, and it's always the same story with these bitches. Why did you leave the relationship? He was abusive. How long were you with him? 4 years. Okay, now there's a problem. And girls don't seem to be doing the math here.
And it's like you're getting beat up for 4 years, and they don't talk about, a lot of times they hit him first.
Yep.
It's not that you're not being abused.
Yes.
You were hitting each other.
That's right.
Stop it.
Stop it. You weren't in the kitchen making pancakes with your flour apron on, looking like June Cleaver. Your husband comes home, ties a few off, puts you in a headlock, and DDTs you. It does not work that way. It always takes. Now, are there some sadistic abusive men out there? Absolutely. Absolutely. I totally get it. Remove yourselves from that situation. But women who have truly been in abusive relationships have a lot of problems talking about it, because that's real trauma. It's so funny. These girls talk all about this. I have trauma. Why are you able to just just be an open book to
brag
a bunch of
about
strangers? Yeah, they brag about it. It's unbelievable, man.
No, and it's that's one thing that I've been red pilled on the last 6 months.
Oh yes.
Is like, God, these hoes be lying.
Yes.
I'm like, there have been too many of you. And then when you ask questions,
all of you, oh yeah, their story falls apart.
Yeah, it falls apart. I'm like, so what happened? Like, how did that happen? And you never hit him.
Right.
And then it's like, well, and I'm like,
and then they talk around the story. It's a bunch of fluff. No. What happened? You said he was abusive. What did he do to you that was abusive? Did he put hands on you? Yeah. Okay. Give us an example. They never can.
Oh, I'm going to use that next time.
Yeah. Give me an example. Yes. Give me an example of when your ex-boyfriend put hands on you, and just shut up. And if she tells you the story, okay. And what does it say in the police report? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, dude, you can checkmate these bitches. I remember there's this one girl on the Fresh and Fit podcast. I actually did a breakdown. She talked about how she was in a physically abusive relationship for 4 years. In the same hour, she looked Myron Gaines in the face and says, I would fight you and I would knock you out. I remember saying, oh, so let me get this straight. Your boyfriend beat the shit out of you for 4 years, but you can kick Myron Gaines' ass, Homeland Security, FBI, all that good stuff. So I'm sorry, were you pulling your punches? Did you? You know what? I could kick this guy's ass, so I'm just going to hold back. Come on, you can't be a victim and then unrealistic and delusional in the same sentence. Listen, if you were being abused by your boyfriend, that's all well and good, but you can't then turn around and look another man in the face and tell him that you knock him out.
Yeah, and I'm equal rights, equal lefts, baby. If she hits you, I give you permission to hit back.
I can't do that. If a woman really were to put hands on me, I would have to leave immediately, because I've put two guys. Boy, okay, here we go.
You're a lethal weapon.
Well, I know I'm not anymore. I'm older and weaker and slower, but. Two people, two of my felony convictions, these two guys had to have facial reconstructive surgery, right? And that's a male skeleton. I would literally, it would not be pretty. So if a woman were ever to the point where like, whoa, I gotta get the hell out of here. Maybe I'll shove her on the bottom so I don't, whatever. I gotta leave, because if a man reacts, they have consequences.
Yeah, no, I know, but it's Pearl's world.
Pearl's world. Okay, we're gonna round third and head for home. I want to talk to you about this. This is something we hear a lot about: emotional intelligence, right? Emotional intelligence. You've heard girls talk about emotional intelligence. Yeah. What is the modern woman's definition of emotional intelligence, and then what is Pearl's?
Oh God, I don't even know what their definition is. It's like they want a guy to be more vulnerable with them.
Yes, that's it. That's what I was getting to.
And my definition is, I don't know, some shit feminists say. That's. Yep. But like honestly, they say they want guys to be more vulnerable, but they're talking about the guys that they want.
Yes.
So they're talking about like the 5% of guys that are like, maybe it would be nice if he opened up to slut. Like, they're like, they think
a little bit, right?
A little. They're like, oh, he's kind of rude all the time, but I love it. And
I love it, and he does have a soft side that I only see.
Yeah. And so that's who they're talking about. But I'm like, well, what about your friend zone? They're vulnerable with you all the time.
Yeah, all the time. They cry to you about their moms, their ex-girlfriends, the other girls friend zoning them. Are you fucking those guys? No. Yeah, the answer is no. It doesn't make any sense for men to be openly vulnerable to women on purpose. It makes absolutely no sense. And I'm going through quite a bit I'm going through a lot right now with some of my friends and family. Devin hasn't. She knows nothing about. I've told her bits and pieces of it here and there. I'm like, yeah, something's going on with my sister, blah, blah, blah. I don't talk to her about that. I've talked to Myron, I've talked to AMS, and I've talked to Kevin Savo. Those are the guys that I vent my spleen to in terms of how to handle these situations. The reason why I cannot tell Devin what I'm feeling about these things is because she's counting on me to be the emotional rock. And if she can't count on me to be the emotional rock, then who can she count on? That's why you keep this shit to yourself.
Devin, do you ever get nosy?
No.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering.
If I really want to know something, I'll just ask. If he wants me to know, he'll tell me. Again, being nosy, what am I gonna do? Go through his phone? Like, that's
no, I didn't
creepy.
mean, like, do you ever just like ask again or anything, or you just drop it?
Ask around?
No. So like, if you can see something's like bothering him, and you're like, oh, what's wrong? And he's like, oh, just something with my sister. Do you ever ask again because you're curious, or no?
If I see something is distressing him, then I will just let him know, hey, I'm here for you if you feel like talking. But I'm not gonna be pushy. I'm not gonna nag him to tell me something that he's not ready to open up about.
Maybe. What do you think? Like, we could have Devin do conflict resolution in wife school.
Oh my God, dude!
I'm actually pretty good at de-escalating things because I hate conflict, and confrontation. So I'm an expert at avoiding it. So
Bobs and weaves like Floyd Mayweather. Like this is why her and we work so well together, because I am highly confrontational. She's not trying to argue or fight with anybody or anything. Number one. Number two, she's very good at because I'm a high octane guy. And she's very good at calming me down. It's almost like and I fucking hate the Black Widow character, how she seems to have this effect on the Hulk. Even when he's she can sort of, she rubs his hand, hey big guy, the sun's getting low, blah 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 blah, and then he calms down. Devin is very very good at that. She's had lots of practice. So I guess the final question is, when do you think because relations between men and women have never been worse. Men don't trust women, women don't trust men. Is there an end in sight? Is it going to happen in our lifetime, or are American men just going to be like, you know what? I'm throwing my hands up. I'm gonna fuck my sex doll, or I'm gonna go to Southeast Asia, and I'm leaving women alone.
I think when you start to see the benefits rolling, I think at some point the government's going to run out of money. Yeah. And I think once we start to see, I think women are very opportunistic. Yes. And I think as soon as you start to see like the benefits rolling back, that's when you'll see women running to their friend zone.
There you go.
Please marry me, please.
Yes. There you go. There you go.
And I do think, like, unfortunately, like for the guys, like I do think guys will take them. So
yeah. Well, because of the lack of options. Andrew Tate once said, and this was 100% true, the poorer a country is, the closer they align with traditional gender roles. Yeah. Feminism is a first world problem, and I don't think feminism is never not going to be a problem in the United States. The only thing that could probably stop it or slow it down is if we become a third. Maybe actually, we don't even have to become a third world. We can become a second world country. I don't know if there's any such thing. A second world country is something like Ukraine used to be. What's another second world country? They're not rich, but they're not poor. India is probably kind of a second world country. And we got a good example. We got a good example of that during COVID. How many bitches did not know what the fuck to do. Bitches were like, oh my God, it's COVID. I need a man. Da 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 da. That was the closest we ever came to experience maybe second and third world problems. Now that we're out of it, we're back to men ain't shit. I don't need a man.
Yeah, I think I think life humbles people. Yeah. I really do think like people have consequences eventually, even if it's not right away. And I do think when women start to see, I might be homeless, they're like, I think it might be about that time.
Yeah, my lease is up and getting kicked out and
Johnny,
blah, blah, blah.
I know I've friend zoned you for 10 years, but I'm ready.
I'm ready. And Johnny's like, okay.
I can put a baby in her at 38.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ! Yeah, he'll have autism and who knows whatever else. Pearl, this was fun. This
was so fun.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. We're actually coming out to England January, February-ish. Somewhere around there. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
your guests. Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm trying to get a bunch of you to come out.
Yeah,
so I want to do like a little round table or something.
I would love nothing more than to go toe to toe with these bitches on your show.
Yeah,
that would be oh my God, I'm licking my every once in a while I'll get Fresh and Fit withdrawal. You know what I mean? Like I think I was on Fresh and Fit last month and I'm good for a while, but now I'm like, damn, I want to yell at these fucking bitches, man. Like, yo, Myron, man, I'm fly down next week, man. Set me up for after hours. He's like, all right, bet.
I know I've been too good when you get the itch to start yelling at somebody because you haven't been yelling at me. So
Yep. She hasn't given me reason to.
Yeah, you want me to be annoying or pop off on you just so you can get out of your system. I'll come up with something for you.
That's quite all right. No, I would very much appreciate if you did not become annoying on purpose. That would be good.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
I think pretty sure about that. We are gonna go. I don't know where we're gonna go eat at. I'm not gonna say it because some crazy motherfucker might show up and then I might end in jail. Let me see if we have any other super chats. So guys, subscribe to her channel. It is Just Pearly Things. Yeah, guys, I've been banned on Instagram. I lost my Instagram account. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. Instagram is a hobby, so whatever, they can have it. It is what it is. Maybe I'll start another one in a few months. I really don't care. Yeah, so subscribe to Just Pearly Things. Thank you very much for coming out here. What's next for the pregame podcast?
What's next? I'm working to get more OnlyFans girls on the show.
Oh wow!
I think that it would. I want to get. We're really working.
You want confrontation? Oh yes.
Yeah, I think that we're trying to get some crazier guests. So I haven't figured out how yet, but that's the goal.
Unfortunately, the resource that you could have had is. He knows his shit, but he is bad fucking news. Bad news. But you'll listen. You're solutions oriented, and you will figure it out. Pearl, thank you very very much. For making time for us. Guys, thank you very much for watching this edition of the #HowToRelationship podcast. We'll see you on Saturday when we will be live with a menstrual cycle coach.